Hello everyone and welcome to the last session of this round of PCB webinars. My name is Suzana Ayeti and I'm the Agency Portfolio Marketing Manager and PCB's organizer for this session. As always, I'm delighted to have you all here with us. Before we start, I would like to remind you that PCB is organizing PCB Certified Advanced Audit Techniques event, which will take place in Stockholm, Sweden from June 27 to July 1st. For more information, visit our website. As for today's webinar, we will discuss migration from OHSAS 80001 to ISO 45001. To tell us more about it, joining us is PCB's Course Development Manager for Health, Safety and Environment, Mr. Nysret Lezi. During the presentation, feel free to write your questions and comments in the question box in the right-hand control panel, and all of your questions will be answered individually by email. Also, if you are aware of a topic that you would like to discuss and participants would benefit from, please feel free to write down your suggestions in the survey at the end of the webinar. We are strongly committed to providing our audience with updated and useful information. Please, Mr. Lezi, you may start the presentation.
Thank you, Susanna. Hello, everyone, whenever you are in the world, and welcome to today's webinar. I am Mr. Lezi, and I am the Course Development Manager for Health, Safety and Environment at PECB. Today, I will talk about migration of OHSAS 18001 to ISO 45001. Since this webinar is short in terms of the time that we have to introduce the changes, I will focus just in the main changes of the standard. So, as you can see in this slide, these are main topics that I will talk today. I will start with an overview of the OHSAS 18001 to continue with why revision of the standard are needed, and as well as the revision of the OHSAS 18001. I will continue with ISO 45001 development stage, ISO 45001 most significant changes, and finally we will see the recommendation for the organizations that are already certified with OHSAS 18001. Let's start with an overview of OHSAS 18001. OHSAS 18001 is one of the most used standards over the world. OHSAS 18 is the name given to the family of international standards relating to occupational health and safety management. OHSAS 18001 is the only certifiable standard among the OHSAS family, and consists of two main standards that are 18001, which provides requirements for an OHSAS management system, and 18002 that gives implementation guidelines. This occupational health and safety standard specifies requirements for an occupational health and safety management system to enable an organization to control its OHSAS risk and improve its OHSAS performance. This standard is implemented by more than 92,000 organizations over than 127 slide. From this slide, we can see where the OHSAS stands regarding to how many organizations are certified with this standard. These data in the slide are from the year 2011, as we already mentioned in the previous slide. Until 2011, over than 92,000 organizations were certified by OHSAS 18001. This chart shows that the number of the organizations that are certified and want to be certified for this standard is in trend of increasing. This tendency of the organization to be certified by this standard is because organization doesn't want just to be profit, they also want to be more sustainable. Also another factor that contributes in growing issue certificate is that organization under increasing pressure from outside as well as within its environment to apply the principles of the sustainable development of the operation. As this chart shows, the strongest ISO standard in the European and American markets are ISO 19001, ISO 27001, and ISO 14001. These standards have grown ever since the years of 90s For example, ISO 90001 has shown continual stable growth of 3%. ISO 27001 show increase of 6% every year, while the number of certification issued for ISO 40001 has reached over than 324,000 in 2014. If we see which are the most countries that leads with the most certified organization for different standards in the world is China, while in the Europe is Germany. In this slide, we will see why the ISO standard needs to be revised, as well as what ISO 45001 has considered to change comparing with OHSAS 18001. ISO performs systematic review every 5 to 8 years to keep the standards up to date. It adjusts them to change in the environment with the aim at improving organizations' ability to offer products and services that meet customer requirements. Usually during the revision, standards change in structure. Now each revision standard follows the 10-section structure defined in Annex SL. They change also the key concepts as well as the terminologies. During the revision of OHSAS 18001, it is given more attention to increase service prominence, improving health and safety workplace. New concepts are included as individual clauses, increased interested parties expectation, better integration with management systems, with other management systems, and due to globalization. This slide shows the development of the ISO 45001 and in which stage is now the standard. The new version of occupational health and safety was estimated to be released in October 2016, but after the participation members of the ICO committee disapproved its first draft, the publication is likely to be delayed for several months. As we can see from the slide, the development of this standard has started in November 2013, and now we are in June, and still this standard is not published. And now we will go through the main changes of the standard. Let's start with Annex SL. All new ICO management system standards, as well as the ones that will be revised, including ICO 45001, will use Annex SL as integrated into the structure. Annex SL provides the basis of a generic management system. It is created in such a form that it helps companies of all sizes implement the management system easier and with the same accuracy, but with less documented requirements. Annex SL remains an important tool for the businesses and that will implement multiple management systems. It is designed in generic form to encompass a high-level structure, including 8 clauses and 4 appendixes. ICO 45001 and all future management system standards will follow the new common structure for management system standards. This will have organization with integrated management system. More and more organizations have to manage several compliance frameworks together. To simplify the work and to avoid conflicts, also to reduce duplication of documents, it is recommended to implement an integrated management system. An integrated management system is a management system which integrates all components of the business into a coherent system as to enable the achievement of its purpose and mission. The structure of ICO 45001 will include all these clauses: scope, normative references, terms and definition, context of the organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, improvement, guidance on the use of this international standard, also an alphabetic index of terms. The requirements of this standard are context of the organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, and improvement. The clause structure and some of the terminology of the standard have been changed to improve alignment with other management system standards. The OHSAS 18001 standard was based on 8 ICO management principles, which are usually used by the top management as a guide to occupational health and safety improvement. However, these principles are modified to 7 principles. The new version of the standard will be based on 7 principles, and they include customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, informed decision-making, or evidence-based decision-making, and relationship management. In terms of terminology, the first and second principle, customer focus and leadership, have not changed from the previous version. The third principle, involvement of people, is renamed to engagement of people. The fourth principle has remained the same, while the fifth one has merged with the fourth one and has been removed, bringing the number of principles to 7. In addition, some terminology modification was made to the 6th, 7th, and 8th principle. The 6th principle was modified from continual improvement to improvement. The 7th was modified from factual approach to decision-making to evidence-based decision-making. And the last one was modified from mutually beneficial supplier relationship to relationship management. Now I will go quickly through all of them to see main changes of these principles. Customer focus. The first principle has no change in terms. Customer focus is used in both versions of the standard. The old one and the new principles concentrate on meeting customer requirements. However, the new version of the standard adds that organization need to focus on all interested parties for opportunities to create an added value. In addition, it is also adds that the customer loyalty is highly important to have a sustained success. Leadership. The second principle leadership has also remained the same. However, this principle does not involve only top management, but leaders at all levels of the organization. The revised principles add that the leadership involvement also principle was changed from involvement of people to engagement of people. It adds the description of people's involvement at all levels. In addition to it emphasizes how important it is for these people to be competent, empowered, and engaged to create and deliver value. The fourth one is process approach. The process approach and the system approach to management principles of OHSAS 18001 have been merged to one principle, which is called process approach. The new principles still focus on understanding and managing activities as interrelated processes within a system, but it provides a clear view on how to process resources, controls, and interaction procedures, results which can be used to optimize organization performance. The fifth one is improvement. The revised principle uses the term improvement instead of continual improvement. One would expect that the term improvement will be used in the new version of the standard, since the standard is being developed to make a more explicit use of quality principles. However, continual improvement is used throughout the standard. The focus of this principle is to make improvements which are essentially to maintain the level of performance rather than improving the overall performance. The sixth one is evidence-based decision making. This principle is used instead of the factual approach to decision making. Both these principles address decision making based on data and information. However, the new version puts on emphasis of understanding causes of and effect relationship, and states that decision-making based on facts leads to greater objectivity and confidence. And the final one is a relationship management. The mutual beneficial supplier relationship was modified to relationship management, as such expanding the focus from suppliers to other interested parties. The suppliers and partners are still of high importance, but attention should be paid to other relevant parties as well. This international standard adopts the Process Model Plan Do Check Act, or as it's known as a Deming Wheel, which is applied to the structure of all processes in the management system. The figure illustrates how a management system uses as input the requirements and expectation of the stakeholders, and how it produces with the necessary action and processes the environmental results that met the requirements and expectation. In the phase plan, organization should establish objectives, programs, and processes necessary to deliver results in accordance with the organization and OHSAS policy. In the phase 2, the organization shall implement the processes as planned. In the phase check, the organization shall monitor and measure activities and processes with regard to the OHSAS policy and objectives, and report the results. And the final, the phase act, take action to continually improve of the OHSAS performance to achieve the intended outcomes. In the next 3 or 4 slides, we will talk about what is considered the main changes to this standard comparing with OHSAS 18001. And context of the organization is main changes of the new version. Context of the organization is new requirements and very important one, as it is necessary to obtain an overview of the organization to understand occupational health and safety challenges of the organization and the risk inherent in that market segment. The organization also should determine internal and external environment to determine the issues that are relevant and can prevent the success of occupational health and safety management system implementation. However, this clause, it is also important to monitor the review of review the issues that can influence the ability of organization to achieve the intended result from the OHSAS. Since the standard does not offer a practical approach to analyze the context of the organization, there are several models that have been developed to analyze and understand the strategic context of an organization. Note that this step does not become a project in itself. In most organizations, studies have been conducted internally or by consulting firms on their strategic positioning. It should be enough to just collect these studies, analyze them, and interview some of key persons to ensure an adequate understanding of the organization. There are different tools that can be used to analyze the external environment. The SWOT analysis used above is not used in this slide is not a requirement of the standard, but it is used in the training as an example. Some other tools that can be used including PEST or PESTEL analysis, SOAR, Porter spy forces analysis, value chain analysis, and so on. The important thing is to identify the characteristic of internal and external environmental factors that will influence the risk management, including mission, main activities, internal organization, stakeholders, etc. Clause 4.2 of the context of the organization is understanding the needs and expectations of workers and other interested parties. An organization is expected to gain a general understanding of the internal and external interested parties that can be determined by the organization. The organization considers the knowledge gained when determining which of these needs and expectation it has to or it chooses to comply with. In the case of interested parties perceiving itself to be affected by the organization's decision or activities related to occupational health and safety performance, the organization should consider the relevant needs and expectations that are made known or have been disclosed by the interested party to the organization. Moreover, interested parties' requirements are not necessarily requirements of the organization. Some interested parties' requirements reflect needs and expectations that are mandatory because they have been incorporated into laws, regulation, permits, and licenses of governmental or even court decision. The organization might decide to voluntarily agree to adopt all the requirements of interested parties. Once the organization adopts them, they become organizational requirements and are taken into account when planning the occupational health and safety management system. Clause 4.3 determining the scope of the OHSAS management system. A clear definition of the scope is an important factor for the success of the OHSAS implementation. By defining a scope which is a continuation of the mission of the organization, it is easier to obtain management support and the commitment of stakeholders in the project and justify an added value for the interested parties. The extent of the scope will be a primary factor influencing the amount of effort required by project. For example, for a company of 20,000 employees with 30 divisions spread over the 6 countries, it will be easier, faster, and less expensive to certify just one division or a key process rather than a whole organization. If there is already a management system implemented within the organization, such as an environmental management system, the OHSAS scope may cover the same area. The requirements to determine the scope are more extensive in ISO 45001 than OHSAS 18001. The revised version of the standard sets the requirements regarding scope boundaries. Use your scope document to explain that every ISO 45001 requirement is mandatory and may only be excluded if it not can be applied. We should consider the following to determine the scope: external and internal issues, comprehensible publication, organizational units, function and physical boundaries, activities, products and services, authority and ability to control. Clause 4.4 of context of the organization says that the organization shall establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve an OHSAS management system, including the processes needed in their interaction in accordance with the requirements of this international standard. This is just an overview of the clause 4, which is called the context of the organization, and we have already talked about it. Next clause is leadership and worker participation. In this clause, requirements like the policy, organizational rules, responsibilities, accountabilities, and authorities are transferred from the OHSAS 18001. The ISO 45001 has added an important new requirement which states that the top management has to demonstrate their leadership and commitment by taking accountability and effectiveness of the OHSAS. This requirement is named as leadership and worker participation, and according to the standard, workers include top management, managerial and non-managerial persons. Furthermore, the new standard has also emphasized the significance of the leadership role, meaning that everyone must include within the decision-making process not only the senior leaders but all levels of the organization. This clause includes the following sub-clauses: leadership and commitment, occupational health and safety policy, organizational rules, responsibilities, accountabilities, and authorities, and finally, the final one is participation and consultation. This clause is named planning and requires from the organization to consider the risks and opportunities associated to the issues that are identified in clause 4.1. More specifically with regards to the interested parties. This clause has brought a significant change to the standard by replacing preventive action and reducing the need for corrective actions. Additionally, the requirements on risk and hazards have been extended by focusing also on risk and opportunities related to relevant interested parties of the organization. Some of the requirements for this clause can be implemented at the planning phase by understanding what, who, how, and when the risk must be addressed. Planning as a clause includes the following subclauses: action to address risk and opportunities, and OHSAS objectives and planning to achieve them. In the subclauses action to address risk and opportunities are also included another subclauses like hazard identification and assessment of OHSAS risk, the determination of applicable legal requirements and other requirements, as well as planning to take action. And for the OHSAS objectives and planning to achieve them, they are included also another subclauses like OHSAS objectives and planning to achieve OHSAS objectives. And for the clause 7, which is a support, the requirements of this clause take into consideration the areas of resources, competence, awareness, information and communication, and documented information. The main changes for this clause is in the term of documents and records, which has been replaced with documented information. Clause 8 is operation. The requirement of this clause include operation planning and control. The organization shall on multi-employer work. This clause states that the one multi-employer workplace, the organization shall implement a process for coordinating the relevant parts of the OHSAS management system within their organization. Management of changes states that the organization shall control temporary and permanent changes to promote OHSAS opportunities and to ensure they do not have an adverse impact on OHSAS performance. Outsourcing, which is clause 8.3, states that outsourced processes affecting OHSAS management system shall be controlled. Procurement states that goods like products, hazardous materials for substances, raw materials, equipment, as well as services shall be conform to its OHSAS management system requirements. Contractors states that this clause requires from the organization to establish processes to identify and communicate the hazard and to evaluate and control OHSAS risk. Emergency preparedness and response. The organization shall maintain documented information on the processes and on the plans for responding to potential emergency situation. Clause 9 is about performance evaluation. This clause takes into consideration the requirements for monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation, also internal audit and the management review. There are no significant changes on ISO 45001 regarding these clauses compared to OHSAS 18001. To comply with the requirements of this clause, it is required by the organization to determine what, how, and when independent issues need to be monitored, measured, analyzed, and evaluated in the organization. Similar to OHSAS 18001, internal audit is also included as a requirement on ISO 45001 to ensure that the management system conforms to the requirements of the standard. Performance evaluation as a clause covers most of clauses 4.5 and clauses 4.6, which is management review of the OHSAS 18001. And the final clause of this standard is improvement. This clause considers the requirements for incident, non-conformity, and corrective action, and continual improvement. The only changes in this clause is that preventive actions are not. The only changes in this clause is that preventive actions are no longer a requirement of the standard. The following clauses and sub-clauses provide inputs into continual improvement, like clause 4, which is context of the organization, clause 5.4, participation, consultation, and representation, clause 6.1, action to address risks and opportunities, clause 6.2, OHSAS, occupational health and safety objectives and plans to achieve them, clause 6.4, information and communication, clause 9.1, monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation, clause 9.2, internal audit, clause 9.3, management review, and clause 10.1, incident and non-conformity and corrective action. And finally, we are in the last part of this presentation. Now we will give some recommendation for the organizations that are using our OHSAS 18001-2007. What the organization should identify organizational gaps which need to be addressed to meet new requirements of the ISO 45001. The organization should develop an implementation plan. Then, whenever the ISO 45001 will be ready, the organization will be published. The organization should provide appropriate training and awareness for all interested parties that have an impact on the effectiveness of the organization. Organization should update the existing occupational health and safety standard to meet the revised requirements and provide verification of effectiveness. Also, the organization should applicable liaise with the certification body for transition arrangements. This was all for today's webinar, and due to the time constraints, I am not able to answer your emails, so please do not forget to write your email, and later on I will answer to your email. I would like to thank again all of you, and please do not hesitate to click to pecb.com and to see what are the next webinars. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lezi, for this presentation. It was our honor having you as a presenter. I would also like to thank all the attendees for taking the time out of their busy schedule to join us. We hope you enjoyed this webinar. We have received all of your questions, and because the time is limited, we will answer your questions individually by email. Also, don't forget to check our website, pecb.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and be updated with our webinars. Until September, enjoy your summer, everyone. Bye.